his own judgment. Therefore, no one can ever deceive him. There is no place, therefore, for any sycophancy. There is no place for any campaign. Judging by truth and ruling with truth, he knows your worth, he knows your merits, and he knows your own works. And therefore, he rewards you accordingly. The commendation of men has no bearing at all in his judgment of giving rewards. Even all these nations, thousands of hundreds of people might stand up to say, oh, that man is a good man, he's hardworking, he's a good brother, and so on. You are just deceiving yourself and wasting your time. He already knows that man you are commending, and he knows his own rewards, and just give him his own reward in the exactitude of his own work, and does not respect any person. And at the same time, the whole tens of thousands of people can stand up to condemn a man. So that man is not good, is this and that. Yet he knows that man so well, and therefore he gives him the reward due to him, not minding the commendation, the condemnation by men. And therefore you find that since he has come to judge in truth, there is no way for any person to deceive him. There is no way for any person to trick him out. The thinking of man, the commendation of man, the condemnation of man has just no bearing at all in his own operational modus.
Tongareke ipaisa mesia edi akpaniko. Anyindi sesia edi akpaniko. Bukuri iko se bukuri edi akpaniko. Bukuri se yokubi. Nyereke
the toes on his legs, right up to the hairs on his head, is nothing but truth. It is truth that is found in all facets and spheres of his life, and there is no lie at all in any of his ways. Therefore, he passes his own judgment and rule in truth. He is not a respecter of any person. He has come to rule and he judge the angels and all the nations of the world. As a matter of fact, I'm just giving a scratch on the surface of that portion read out to you. When you get home, you'll have to take it again and read it, and then ponder very much over it. His own glory, his own kingship is inborn. His own kingship is intrinsic. And so he has not, his glory is not from the hands of men. His glory is not from the hands of the angels. So that no angel, indeed no man, will say, well, if he does not tune to my own tune, after I'm the one who made him a king, I'll just ask him to step down. No. His own glory is the divine one inborn in him, that he has to rule in truth, not minding who you are. He passes his own judgment in truth. And therefore, all this while we're sitting down, and in fact deceiving ourselves, becoming so trickish, becoming so disorderly and disobedient, and thinking that we can actually crash land and maybe get out of certain of these things, we are sure wasting our own time if we think we can put up any tricks in his own rulership, because he is ruling in truth, judging in truth, and therefore his reward and his judgment knows no person. The sword that comes out of his mouth is what he uses to demolish and slaughter the ungodly nations, slaughter the nations, bring them down. Which nation is that? How strong is such a nation? How strong are such nations put together that could ever withstand the sword coming out of his mouth? He breaks them down into pieces and wrought the will of God in all the nations. The cloth is arrayed with, even the red garments is the word of God in which he uses in his judgments.
Make it Moses, make it Abraham, make it Melchizedek. I don't know. I don't know to me it. I don't know how to for me. I'm tired of that. Who put me in a type ferry, who prefer me. I think the woman a good pin. I couldn't put them a come and tell me. Yes, in the killing, I'm a book in Tony, and I'm New York, the video gets a if you call you, I told Baba alone to cheat. We don't move from my right to the brow, you don't call you, I told I won't cheat. But I can hear him.
All our works are at his fingertips. All the works you do are just at his fingertips. Whether you were Moses and did the works at Moses, that is right there in his own record. He knows it and has it of you. Whatsoever work he's been done in you, by you, through you, is well known, fully in his own record, quite clear before him. And he rewards you accordingly to the works you have done. And therefore there's just nothing that can persuade him or threaten him to miscarry justice or to maybe use any other way. Uses the truth. And therefore there's just nothing of treat, no offensive weapon is anything before him. The whole weaponry of the whole world put together is just like a pin before him, which he can just hold it in his hand. And this is to say, therefore, that all this while we here assemble and bring up our own tricks and own ideas, deceive ourselves, thinking that we can deceive him, it's just true that we do not know ourselves. It's quite true that we don't know ourselves. That is why we have not even been able to recognize him up to this moment, talk less of resembling him.
And yet it is so spiritual. I am a correct. Spirit, second, I bought the boat, yes, every book. You walk on your middle. How come you receive it?
He is the sole spiritual head of the universe, and he's the head, spiritual head of every creation of God, even those seen and unseen, even those things yet to be created, not yet visible. He is the head, the spiritual head of everything at all, and there's just no other thing before him.